Hello, YouTube people. I'm so sorry I'm late. Hello. I'm going to give some time for people to come into the stream. Text my mama while we're doing it so she'll know. And my brothers. Let's see.
All new iPhone users do.
Copy the link. I'm waiting to see if I got at least one. Looks like I have somebody in the room. I'm going to wait a little bit longer for folks to come into the room. How's everybody doing this evening? And how has your new year been? In the chat, if you could just say, where you're from and how you what you did for for Christmas if you celebrate, and for New Year's, just put that in the chat pot. I didn't do anything. I slept. I was happy about that. I got to sleep. And so I got to just hang, and now one of my children is here, so I'm able to hang out with her a little bit. She's sick; she got a cold, so we kind of are just hanging around the house for right now. Let me make sure my sound is okay. Okay, yeah, looks like my sound is down. Turn that up. There we go. All right, and let me look and see if I have some live stream, some people in the comments. All right, I'm gonna give it a few more seconds and then we're gonna get going. Oh, I see what I'm doing. I don't have my live chat. Oh, there we go. All right, I didn't have them visible. Okay, there we go. I got the visible. And I don't see any live chat. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna wait a few more minutes and then I'm gonna get started. Let me send. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today, I'm going to try to not keep you long, depending on how much fun we have. We always have a lot of fun. So let's give it like about another minute or so, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. But I do have some topics, and thank you for that thumbs up, whoever did that. I appreciate that. I am having problems seeing the live chat. Are you guys able to see the live chat? Let me look and see. I don't know why I can't see it. Let me look on my phone. Maybe I could see it better there. Depending on what platform we come on. Sometimes when we're live streaming, we can always see the chat. So let me see. Okay. I don't see. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So today, first, while we're waiting for people to come in. Hey, Sonia, girl, how you doing? Have you retired yet? Girl, how are you doing? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I first want to go over, and I want to say thank you to everybody who has been a part of this channel since the beginning. I really appreciate you. Even the people who just came and started hanging and rolling with us. I appreciate each and every one of you. As you know, at the beginning of every live stream, the first Friday night lives, which is what these are called, I'd like to provide you all with some channel updates, and I'll just go over that briefly, and then we'll get into some of our topics. The first thing I'd like to tell you and remind you is that the channel we started April 2022. At this point, we have over 113 videos. Yay! We have 203 community posts. And for those of you who are not sure what that is, when you go to the home page at the very top, you'll see tabs, and one of the tabs says community. So when you click on community, you'll see all my posts. And I generally post something there. I try to do something a couple times a week, especially on Mondays. I like to wish you all a happy Monday, a happy week. So we have about 203 community posts. We have 10 lives. That's my thing telling me to go live. We have 10 lives that we've done. I try to do at least one live a month. I do plan to make some changes to the channel for the upcoming 2025 year. And we've had over over 76,000, almost 76,500 views. So I'm pretty excited about the channel and where we're going. I'm excited about the community that we're building here and that we've built. And I just really appreciate each and every one of you who have tuned in, who have come in. Hey, I want to say hey to hey, how you doing? Danny is here from Natural Ally D. Miss K is here from NC. I think that's North Carolina. It says I was at my stepmom's with my niece, and we're talking about what she did for New Year's and Christmas. And great nephew. Hey, I got a great nephew. I'm actually raising him. Not raising him. My mom was raising him. We're co-raising him. My great nephew did the countdown for the first time in years, but was sleeping by 1:30. Girl, wait a minute. I'm 50. I'll be 59 and this month. I was asleep. I think I was asleep probably before the ball dropped. I used to watch the ball drop on TV every year, but I mean, that's too late for me now. I can't stay up that late. My party is on hold right now. So I don't have it like I used to, and Dick Clark, nobody else saw me this year. In fact, I just snoozed. Okay. So that's what I did. But anyway, I want to get started. I want to say, talk about some of our topics now. I'm sure that, and you guys know that, we talk about all kind of stuff on the lives that we don't necessarily talk about during the videos. So one of the things I do want to talk about during today's live is I want to talk about these H-1B visas. And you may say, what does H-1B visas have to do with us? Well, it have a lot to do with us. And, if I'm honest about it, I do feel some kind of way about these HB1 visas. And so what is an HB1 visa? I'll just talk about it briefly. And you can Google and look it up and see for yourselves what it is. But really what it is, it's a visa that is sponsored by an employer for non-immigrants or people who are not citizens, people who have permanent residency in the United States. And what these employers do is they use these visas to hire people in specialty occupations, and they can hire those individuals to work in 3-year increments, and they can kind of extend it for up to 6 years. Okay. And those extensions are supposed to be very limited. And so some of the specialties, when they say specialty occupations, I'll just talk about a few of them. I think, and I just basically did a little research on this, and I've seen certain things on how these things, how they kind of get around some stuff. So some of the things you'll hear people say is, like in the tech field, you'll see there's visas used for that. You'll see that they're used in sometimes education, sometimes they're used in like specialized fields like accounting, things like that. And what I find very fascinating, let me get a few more give you a few more ideas of what they're used for. But what I want to talk about is the impact that HB1 visas have on us as African American women, African Americans in general. Okay, because there is an impact. All right, and so I don't want to like sugarcoat this. So basically, what these and I'm sorry, the other specialized fields, I know I'm jumping around. Other specialized fields include engineering, technology, and some medical sciences. And a lot of times you'll see them used for research purposes and what have you. And so if you've been looking at the news, I know some of us are trying to get away from the news. I know I am, but I still find myself looking at it. You'll see that there's kind of some tiffs going on in the political realm about H1B visas. Okay. Now, we don't talk about a lot of politics on this channel, but we do talk about politics that will impact us. Okay. And so, one of the things that I want to talk about is I want to talk about how employers, in, in order to get approved for an H1B visa, okay, by the United States under the Immigration and Nationality Act, they have to certify that they are unable to find uh, workers who have that specific skill, that specific education or specialty set here in the United States. Okay. And sometimes you hear this referred to as the guest worker visa. So, did you hear what I said? They have to certify that they are unable to find anyone, okay, any qualified American employees for that specific occupation in that specific field, whether it's technology, whether it's medicine, whether it's mathematics, whether it's whatever they're applying for. So, what I find interesting is how these visas are used and how they can really impact African Americans. And this is a channel that the information is curated for African American women, but we're talking about African American men as well. Okay. So I had mentioned in prior videos how African American women are the most educated people on the planet. So when I hear people saying, "Oh, we need to import workers from other countries because of the lack of education or the lack of experience," my brain automatically goes, "Well, where y'all been looking? Really?" I feel some kind of way about it because I'm going to myself, I don't think so. Now, for some of the people who are new to the channel, I've been in management I was in management for, I don't know, almost 20 years. And I have a bachelor's degree in leadership and organizational skills. And you say, why are you saying all that? I'm saying all that because I was one of the people who made hiring and termination decisions. And one of the things that I would hear other managers say when we were, for example, and I'm going to bring it into internal position assignments or internal specialty assignments or internal highly visible special project assignments. One of the things that I would often hear management teams say, mostly non-Black, that we don't have any qualified Black people for these assignments. And I'd say, and the question was in it, and that comes up because I'm saying, how come ain't no Black people names being presented for some of these assignments? Oh, well, we don't have any qualified, Black people. Or the other one was, we don't see an interest. Well, I see this email that this person sent 22 years ago saying they've been interested in this position or this assignment. They want to be an on-the-job trainer, or they want to be a, subject matter expert, or they want to be a resident expert. have you approached them? Have you asked them if they're still interested? And I think that that's important for us to understand, that when people are trying to jockey for other folks to get in places and to jump over some folks, we need to be looking around and be visual. This is where people in leadership position, people who have the ability to make those hiring and firing decisions, people who are in a position to help. And I'm not saying you go out and have to go hire folks because they Black. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you don't need to ignore these people over here. You got a whole group of people. So then when I see and hear people saying we being America, we don't have enough educated or skillful individuals to fill these technological positions, I'm just looking at them going, where y'all been looking? Okay. Now, you and I know that there's some code words going on. They didn't say people who look like us. They was talking about a certain group of people that are not skilled and qualified. Because what did I say? Who are the most educated people on the planet? We are. So you mean to tell me you don't have no Black women or Black people who went to school for engineering? You don't have Black people who went to school for mathematics? Really? All these HBCUs, all these predominantly white institutions, you don't have no Black people there? You don't have any non-Black people there? You got to go to another country to import folks? Let's call it what it is. You really just want to bring in people, okay, that you can underpay, okay, pay less than the market, okay, value for that particular job, okay, and somebody who you don't have to give all the necessary rights to. Basically, when you bring in a person from another country, you are bringing them in, and as the sponsor of that person's visa, that person is not the owner of that visa, the employer is. So what does that mean? That means that if you come to work late and you are a sponsored employee, or you don't come to work and the employer decides to fire you, guess what else that employer gets to happen? They get to withdraw their sponsorship from that visa. So who is that employee beholden to? That employee is beholden to that employer. We call that indentured servitude. Okay? Let's just call it what it is. So when I'm hearing folks say, hey, we don't have people with the skill sets in this country, and it's coming from two specific people who are not, well, I should say one specific person who is not a natural born American citizen. Okay. And I'm looking and hearing you say you want to get them from a specific country. I'm like, where's all the people, Edward Bloom and all them folks talking about affirmative action? Where they at? Because is this not a form of affirmative action? So does it only apply when the skin is my color? And I don't want to say my color, because some of the people they want to bring in is my color, but they don't say they my color. They say they something else. So I'm not even going to get into the specifics of that. You guys can figure that out, right? I'm going to just keep it real. So when I am looking and I am talking about these HB1 visas, I don't have any, I'm not saying I'm prejudiced or anything like that. I'm saying we're the regular Black folks that's here, that's qualified for these positions. Why aren't we hiring them? So we know that Black people been involved in technology forever. Can folks in the chat put in the chat who was responsible for GPS? Do we know who that was? You want to know her name? GPS, Global Positioning System. It was a mathematician. Her name was Gladys West. Her name is Gladys West. Okay. What she look like? She black. She black. Okay. And so technology is not something new to black people or black folks. We've been involved in it from way back. Do we want to get into who was very, whose information was very instrumental in coming up with how you can do your Zoom calls? Do we want to know? Do we want to talk about that? So Zoom calls are possible because of something known as voice over internet protocol, or VoIP, VoIP. Who was very instrumental in that? Now that's technology, right? That's technology, right? Her name was Marion Croak. Marion Croak, Dr. Marion Croak, worked at AT&T. Okay? Engineer. Okay? So what did I say? I said these visas that they're seeking, these HB1 visas, and I might be saying it wrong, might be H1B, might be H1, I think it's HB1, visas that these companies are seeking. What did I say they were? What fields did I say they were in? I said math, right? Math. I just gave you an example of a math person, right? With Marion, who invented who was very influential in the invention of GPS and the way we use it. I said engineering. I just told you about Dr. Croak. She's an engineer. She's the reason why you can see me doing this. She's the reason why we can do Zoom calls, and why during the pandemic we were able to work from home and go to those meetings that should have been an email. Okay. On the Zoom calls, right? That was lasting too long. She the reason that we can do that. Come on, y'all. Let's just keep it real, right? Do we need to talk about some more? Yeah, let's talk about some more. Let's talk about computers and things like this. One of the people who is pushing for those, SpaceX. So before SpaceX, we know that we had Catherine Global, okay? We had Dorothy Vaughan, okay? We had Mary Jackson. Well, who were they? They were mathematicians known as computers back in the day that worked at NASA. All right? This is before SpaceX. So when I hear somebody telling me, oh, we need to do this special thing here and there for highly skilled folks because we can't find them in America, what they're saying is we can't find them. Okay. We can't find the selection. Okay. With the right complexion. Okay. That's what it is. The selection don't have a complexion that we want, because we know the selection is here. We've been here. Okay. We've been here. So I just want to see anybody have anything they want to add to that. And I'm very passionate about this because I'm going to be honest with you. It's getting on my damn nerves hearing people say things that just aren't true about Black people. Okay. And, even though I might not have been out there marching and all that stuff, I am committed to educating people and putting them on game about what's really going on. When you have people who need to pay their bill, okay, they need to pay their bills and they got all this money sitting here and they ignorant enough to say, I don't like who's on the cover of the money, so I'm not going to use this money to pay my bills. So all these stuff get turned off. Their lights get turned off. Their energy get turned off. That's a fool. And that's what's happening. When you say, hey, I'm going to go somewhere else. I got all this over here, but I'm going to walk over that. I'm going to go get some other folks. Let's talk about, let's call it what it is. You don't want to use the folks you have. And I love what Sonia is saying here, okay, the three women that I mentioned earlier, okay, the mathematicians who were computers who helped the success of America winning the so-called space race, they were the three women who were featured in the movie that starred our girl Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, and Janelle Monáe in the movie Hidden Figures. Okay, this is something that we need to understand, and something that we need to be aware of. Why? Because I want us to understand, and I know most of us know, but the younger people may not always know how great and what a great history we have, what a rich, robust history we have of contributing to this society, to this American society. And you don't have to go across the sea to get some HB1 visas. Am I saying that you don't need them for anything? You may need them, but you need to find out who you have right now. It's not even biblical to go somewhere else. In the Bible, there was a widow who her husband had died and she was in debt, and it was just her and her son. And she asked Elisha, who was the prophet Elijah's he came after Elijah. He was his helper. Okay. So she said to him, hey, I am in debt and they're going to take my child. We're in debt. We're going to die. We have nothing. Elijah didn't tell her to go out and see what's out in the field and out in the streets. He didn't say do that. Why? Because he was wise. He said, what's in your house? What is in your house? She said, all I have is some oil. He said, go get some containers and you go borrow from everybody. Get a bunch of containers. And guess what happened? He filled, that oil got filled. And it says that she was able to, it never ran out. That's the same thing with talent. That's the same thing with what we got going on here. We have homegrown intellectuals. We have homegrown educated folks. We have homegrown people who can fill a lot of the positions that folks is trying to go across the sea and bring back. Homegrown folks who have been here, who have helped build this country, right? And even though we've been ignored over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, we've been doing the work. We've been doing the work. So I have an issue with what folks are saying. You know, that's some BS. You don't need to go across the sea to fill these positions. I think that we should force companies to exhaust the talent resource pools here in America before you bring in guest workers. That's if you are American and you feel that America should do for their own first. I am that type of person. I believe in taking care of home first. Charity begins at home. That's the book. That's the book. How are you going to allow and bring in people when you got people right here that's unemployed that got the skills you say you can't find? So my question is, we need to look at these procedures, whoever in the positions, and need to see these companies that are certifying we cannot find somebody here in America to fulfill this position that has the skill set, that has the education, that has the experience. We cannot find that. We need to verify that. We need to verify that. Where'd you look? Because if they come to me with something like that, Sonia worked with me. I'm going to say, where'd you look? Let me see your sources. Where'd you look? Who'd you talk to over there? I'm going to call the person. Yes, it's called trust but verify. Okay. So if we're not going to do it that way, then let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is, because now you got a group of people saying, oh, certain folks is racist. Well, they've been saying that stuff. Now that they're saying it about you, now it counts. I just want to say, what's wrong with you? What you thinking about? So I know I might be a little hyped up, but you know, that's just how I feel about that subject. And this don't have nothing to do with politics. This has to do with common sense and common dignity and common, just using your brain. Okay. So the other thing I want to talk about is you got folks who, because of the shenanigans that are being pulled, before I go to that, I want to say something else. I worked for the state and I had been there almost 30 years, and I'm seeing something really strange because on the one hand, you have folks saying we can't find skilled workers. Okay. So we need to bring them in. And then in the state I live in, they just came, our governor just said, we removing educational requirements for thousands of jobs. Now, truth be told, I worked for the state almost 30 years, and I know that they didn't never follow them requirements because I work with a lot of these managers, and I knew they didn't have no education, especially none of the white ones. All the black ones had education. Okay, almost 100%, maybe 50% of the Hispanics. But as far as the Caucasian ones are concerned, most of them did not have a college degree, the ones that were in management and the ones that I worked with. So why am I bringing this up? I'm bringing it up because I think in a video before I talked about how I feel like some of these positions and some of these governmental agencies, how I feel like they're becoming regentrified, meaning that many of them were held and are held, like especially the agency I worked for. A lot of black people were in those positions. A lot of black people were in management. But now guess who in there? They bringing in Becky, Laura, Kelly, all these people. Okay. And they don't have college degrees that the black managers have. All right. And they bringing them in. And so I'm calling it regentrification because it's like these people fled these government positions and state positions because they were able to get and secure employment in private industries and make a lot of money. Well, that's not happening anymore. Why? Because they don't have no education. So guess where they're coming? They're coming back to state government, city government jobs where African Americans worked for a long time and were able to make a decent living. Okay. And now what's happening is these groups are taking over these government positions. I know where I am, the person who took my position, I think he barely graduated high school. Okay. And I have a master's degree. Took him 6 months to fill my position, and it took 3 people to replace me. Okay. All right. And so I'm going to just keep it 100. And so what I find is happening is I find that we got a couple of fights going on. We have the fight over here where they're saying, okay, we don't have enough skilled workers. We know that they're not including us in that number, us being black women and black men. They're not including us. They're talking about the group of folks who have been able to be mediocre and rise up the ranks. They've been able to fall forward 4 years. They go on something what's called a glass escalator. White men, glass escalator. They can be mediocre. They get on what's called a glass escalator. Why? Because that escalator goes up. Don't matter what their education is. Don't matter what their experience it is. They could have been right over here on the side of the street with a sign saying, hungry, please give me some money. They go wash up. They're your boss the next day. And they want you to train them. Okay. That's just 100% real. So we know they're not talking about us. They talking about that group of folks, right? And then you have us in these positions, us being black people, many times we are being harassed. We are being micromanaged by people who are less educated, less experienced than we are. I personally was in that situation. I personally was in a situation where my last manager couldn't pass City College and asked me, did I have questions about a program I helped to bring up? Okay. So these things are happening. So I'm bringing all these things up because I want us as black women to start to spend some time. Okay. Let them folks fight and duke it out. Okay. Let them duke it out. Let these folks, it ain't our fight. Okay. Every fight ain't our fight. Let these folks duke it out. And I agree with what a lot of the young sisters say. Black women, take your rest era. And black men too. Take your rest era. Don't get involved in this stuff. You don't need to march for nobody else. You don't need to go out there singing for nobody else. You don't need to sign no petitions for nobody else. This is me. You can do what you want to do. This is what Colette's doing. If you cannot clearly show me how this particular action that you're asking me to involve myself in, that you're asking for my allyship for, that you're asking for my backing and my energy and my voice to support, if you can't show me from A to B how this thing, how it connects to Black Americans, it's a no for me. It's a no. It's a no for me. I'm good. Y'all handle it. Okay. I want to talk because I'm jumping all over the place because I'm a little passionate. I don't really have notes written out, but I just wanted to get these things out. I mentioned before about the reparations in California. Okay, how people play games and they look like us. Some of the people playing games look like us. Okay, so all skin folk and kin folk. Let's know that. In California, I don't know if you guys are aware, but our governor decided that they will not be providing cash reparation payments, but they will be issuing an apology for slavery. Now, my daughter provided some information on reparations. In fact, she's been written up in several articles. Okay, so this is personal to me, more personal because of her, but also because, hey, what do you mean an apology? So why did you have a commission, a task force to look into reparations and you knew that you weren't going to give them? Now, everybody, their mama done got reparations. We got groups who had some atrocities happening to them that didn't even take place in this country that got reparations. Should they have gotten reparations? Yes. We've had our Asian American sisters and brothers, Japanese here in America, they got reparations. Should they have gotten reparations? Yes. Yes. I'm looking for what's owed to us. Now, this is the thing. I hear people saying, oh, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. I live in California and they found a couple $1 billion to provide health care for undocumented workers. Right after they said there was no money for cash reparations. That's billion with a B. Okay. Do I think undocumented workers should not have health care? I think health care is a right for everyone. Okay. I do. I think people should get cared for. Okay. And I'm actually willing to pay for people to get cared for. Undocumented workers, well, I have my opinions about that, but I don't want anybody who needs care to not get it. I don't care who they are. Somebody needs some help. We need to help the folks, period, point blank. All right. Am I willing to put my money where my mouth is? I am, and I already do. Okay. I am, and I already do, and have for years. Okay. So what I'm talking about is, don't tell me on the one hand, we don't have the money, but then I find out you didn't found a piggy bank somewhere and you didn't reached in there and found some money to insure all of these folks. Come up with another reason. Don't tell me it's a money issue, because it's not a money issue. When we want money, we can find money. We can find the money when we want to, right? Let's just call it what it is. So you may say, Colette, why are you saying all this? I'm saying all this because it is time for us as a people, and I'm going to say something to sit our ass down. Mama, forgive me if you heard me. Aunt Charlene, forgive me. Sit our ass down and mind our own Black business. Get our rest on. We didn't marched enough. We didn't shouted enough. We didn't wrote enough letters. We didn't made a lot of callings. We didn't knocked on doors enough. Rest. Take some time to look inside of us. And I did a video. My mom asked me to do some videos to encourage the people. But I did a video take some time to look and find out, who are we? Who am I? Do I like me? If I don't like me, how can I like me? Some of us been so busy, involved in everything, that we have not had time to grow with ourselves and know ourselves, right? So I'm all for this Black girl era and Black men era. Okay, I'm going to read a few of the comments. Miss K said, "Oh, Sonia said, hit more hidden figures." Yes, and she's referring to me talking about the ladies earlier, who are, stuff that's going on in the country, saying that they can't find folks to work in some of these technological background fields and mathematicians. Miss K said, "I agree. Forced to pull from our own." That's right. Sonia says, earlier Bible reference. Oh, when I talked about the widow and Elijah and the widow. Thank you, Sonia. Is 2 Kings 4 verses 1-7. Somebody else said, that's real. My little brother said, much needed topic regarding people of color in the workforce being discussed openly in this forum. Yes, Rob. Yeah, that's true. Now, I love my brother, but I'm going to say this. I call me Black. I don't include me in no people of color, because every time we put ourselves in a collective, Black people are at the bottom, and we don't get nothing. Not one thing. Everybody else gets something. I remember years ago when I went to college for my undergrad degree. This was like, how old am I? So about 40 years ago. The EOP office, Equal Opportunity something, EOC, excuse me. Was it EOP? EOP office. I think it was Educational Opportunities Program. That's what it was. Educational Opportunities Programs. At the four-year college that I went to, that program was run by Black people. All Black people. Now, were other people, other minorities receiving services? They were. Other minorities received services. They worked in the offices and all kind of stuff. You don't see a Black person in none of these programs that we started. Not one. When other people of color get in these positions and get into these programs, they do not bring along Black people. They bring on their own community, okay, and that's it. And I have a problem with that, because all of them have benefited from the work of Black people. I look at how some of these people treat us, some of these people from other countries. It was the civil rights, I think it was the 1965 Civil Rights Act that our grandmother, our mothers, and our aunts and uncles marched for, that allowed many of these people, including some of our African sisters and brothers, our Caribbean sisters and brothers, to even come to this country under any kind of visa. Because at that time, prior to that, America was only wanting people who have a different color skin to come in as immigrants. They wanted to keep the country white. And that's not putting anybody white down. That's just a fact. And when Martin Luther King got involved, he said, we need to bring some folks in. Okay, we need to bring some folks in. So yes, I say, sisters and brothers, you got to go to work. If you got to go to work, survive the work job, do what you need to do, but do your job. Stay out of other people's business. Stop being other people's union steward. If they got a problem, you let them speak up for themselves. We don't have to speak up for everybody else. They can speak up for themselves. If you got an issue, you deal with your issue like you have some sense, that we know you do have. If you mad, which I know a lot of times we are, because we're harassed, we're micromanaged, we receive microaggressions on a daily basis, go out of the job, take a deep breath, do what you need to do, and go back in there and handle your business until you can figure something else out. It is a very, very highly charged environment now. I'm glad I'm not out there. I'm glad I don't have to engage, because it's a lot. And it can be a lot. So I'm saying, sisters and brothers, take this time to rest. Take this time to learn about yourself. Take this time to do some introspection. Take this time to focus on your family, on your mental health. Provide as much self-care as you want. This is a resting time. Even in the Bible, God talks about rest is something that we're not supposed to do. We're commanded to do. We're commanded to rest. When you look at the fields, many of the fields, I live in a place in the Central Valley where there are farms, and there's something where they rotate the farms. You know, I'm probably using the wrong term, but like the seventh year, they're not supposed to. I'm just making this. The Bible says the seventh year, don't plant on this field. Why? To let the field rest. So we see there's over farming everywhere. Why? Because people are overworking the fields. You can do that with yourself. You can overwork yourself. Okay. And then you get into something called the law of diminishing returns. The law of diminishing returns says you're doing all this effort, and it's gonna put you up a little bit. You do some more effort, you can put it up some more, do some more effort, push you up. But you continue, pretty soon it's working against bringing you up because it's the law of diminishing returns. Everything is designed to take a rest. Everything is designed to uh uh to shut down. Even computers. Sometimes they trip out. We don't know what happened. What they tell you to do with the IT people. Now, I think a lot of them don't know what they're talking about, but the first thing they do is say, do a restart, shut it down, right? Shut it down. And sometimes they'll say, do a complete shutdown, and then start it up in 20 seconds, right? That's what we need to do. We need to shut ourselves down, do a regroup, love on our families, love on our men, love on our women, love on our kids, love on ourselves, love on our communities. We need to start talking to one another again. And let me tell you something that's funny. Folks want to know what Black people thinking. How come they not saying nothing? What they over there thinking? It ain't none of their business. Okay? We doing what we do. Sometimes we need to walk in silence, and we don't need to invite everybody to the picnic. Just because somebody can break dance or rap, they don't need to come to the picnic. Now, some of us, we have different folks we married to. That's different. That's not the same. Okay. I'm talking about we invite everybody to the picnic. Everybody don't need to be at the picnic. And some of the Black people that we know, like I said, all skin folk and kin folk, they don't need to come to the picnic, right? We need to look around us, see who is for us, see who is adding value to our lives, adding value to our circumstances. And we need to add value to other folks. Okay. But it needs to be reciprocal. One of the things we have been doing for years is participating in unreciprocated relationships, unbalanced. You know, you could even say we have not been evenly yoked. We've been given to everybody, pouring into everybody, and we don't have anything left many times. Okay, like The Help, that movie The Help. She tired. Folks is tired. And it's okay to be tired. It's not a sin to be tired. Okay, so we are going to mind our business. I'm going to read a few of the comments. Danny said, oh, okay, Sonia said, absolutely, healthcare is a right. She's talking about what I said earlier about healthcare. Danny said, say less and do less and rest. I know that's right. Donna said, thanks for offering this mind your own Black business advice. I work with something WW and live in a homogeneous area with lots of the folks who complain all day, every day. And let them complain. Let them complain. You're not their therapist. Have them call Ayana Van Zetta somebody. who can fix their life, and I don't condone a lot of stuff that's said there, but have them call somebody else. She says, I think people are hungry for real meaningful interaction and conversations. And I think so too. I think people want to know that they are heard. They want to know that they're seen. They want to know that. They want to know that somebody cares about them. And a lot of times what I see is sometimes folks want to get in around folks who we know don't care about us. And this is not about race. This is about period. Sometimes we hang around with people that we think are our friends, or we're in somebody's company who we think love us, whether it's a man or a woman, and they don't. And they telling us and they showing us. And they letting us know, I don't feel you like that. And we're like, well, maybe if I do this, and maybe if I do that. Forget that stuff. Forget that maybe stuff. Believe what people show you. What did the late Maya Angelou say? When people show you are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. See, people say the quote, they say believe them, but what she says, believe them the first time. Meaning, many of us wait until they tell us a second time, show us, kick us to the curb, and we say, well, what happened? They've been told us. They've been told us. They've been told us that they don't care about us. So I think that we need to conserve our energy, conserve our strength, love God, love ourselves, love our families, get to know who God designed us to be. What is our purpose? Why were we here? And stop operating outside of our purpose, and stop letting other people tell you what your purpose is. I don't let people tell me what my purpose is. And I don't think I've ever really done that. I might have, done a little things on my job, done things that I necessarily want to do. But for the most part, you can't tell me what my purpose is. You didn't make me. You didn't create me. And they didn't create you. So yes, people are hungry for real, meaningful interaction and conversations. And I think that's a lot of that is because we are eating fake food being social media, fake connections, fake interactions. We look to see how many likes we have. When I do my videos, I look to see how many times people looked at it, right? And that does something. We looking for affirmation, somebody to affirm us, right? And the thing about other people affirming us, are seeking affirmation outside of ourselves and outside of God, is it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. Because if 1,000 people say they like us, we want to know, why didn't the 1,001 say it? If 2,000, why didn't the 2001 say it? And then some of us, not all of us, not everybody on this stream, why does this person got 3,000 likes and I only got 2,000? So we are eating food from social media that's fake. Many of us. And we are substituting real relationships, real interactions with others and ourselves with the use of social media. So one way I believe for us to feel that hunger is to go within, to go within and find out, what is it that makes me feel alive and full? And I guarantee you, it is not going to be how many likes you got on Instagram, how many followers you have, how many links, and I don't know what it's called on LinkedIn, how many TikTok, and I don't know what it's called on TikTok. I guarantee you it's none of that stuff. But our brains, I think, have been conditioned over the year to be gamified, right? Gamification, which is that hit, that hit, that win, that like is a hit. You look to see, am I winning? Okay. When what we really want is true connections. That's what we want. So that's why we have to take some time to disconnect, disengage, and go inside. We have to till our own soil. If we're a plant, we need to till our own soil. We need to make sure our soil is rich. We can't overwork our soil by giving to everything, by being involved in every cause. All good causes don't need you. Okay? You don't need to be involved in every good cause. A good cause is making sure that your baby went to school today. A good cause is making sure your man is happy to see you or your woman is happy to see you. A good cause is, you know, calling your sister to say, I love you. That's a good cause, right? And so those are the things that we need to kind of look into. Let's see. I'm going to read a few of the comments and then I'm going to share a few things and then we're going to, let's see. I'm reading a book titled A Mighty Long Way by one of the Little Rock Nine girls. Okay. The community Black people had is real meaningful community I desire today. You know what, Donna? Thanks for sharing it. It really is. In our community, people like to say that Black people don't have a culture. We have a culture and we always have one. And something funny about the Little Rock Nine, one of them was my teacher. I had it. He taught us. He was my professor, actually, Terrence. Yeah, I took a class from him. I took a Black history class from him. When it was Black history and something, I think it was Black literature at Fresno State. And so, yeah, I think that that's a good book to read. Um, I think that is something that is important to keep ourselves reminded of what we have gone through, to keep ourselves empowered. I think that that's very, very important. Speaking of reading, I've been trying to do some more reading. So these books are good. Jane Allen, she has a series of books. This one is called, and this is a trilogy. This one is called Black Girls Must Have It All. This is the last in the trilogy. I'm reading that. I should have been done with it, but I don't want it to end. Okay. The second one, I'm doing this backwards, is Black Girls Must Be Magic. This is not no spooky stuff. I don't do the spooky stuff. And then the first one is Black Girls Must Die Exhausted. The reason why I want to bring these up is because in Black Girls Die Exhausted, there's a line in there that one of the characters says. The main character in this book, her grandmother, her paternal grandmother, is white. And they're talking about race and race issues. And the grandmother is talking about one of her friends, her little Black friends, when they were in elementary school, and how her Black friend was really, really smart. But because she was Black, she had to go to a school that was miles away from her home, as opposed to that was right in the neighborhood, because the school that was in their neighborhood was for Black kids. Okay. And so I thought that was very, very telling. And so one of the things that the grandmother, who is white, her paternal grandmother, says is, the girl asked her grandmother, would you ever want to be Black? And the grandmother said, no. She said, because Black girls must die exhausted. All the stuff that they have to deal with. So I hope I'm not giving away the book, but the book is fabulous. So you, during your rest, read that. In this one, Black Girls Must Be Magic, one of the lines that stuck with me was, in the book, the character is working and she's asked to be involved in these different things that are happening at work. And And one of the things that she says, and her character says, is that she don't have to be in everybody's fight. She can. Folks need to figure out their own mess. Now, she was a sole Black woman at this job. And this is not different from what I'm saying and what the Black girl rest era is about. It's not different. Okay. And so I encourage you, if you get a chance to read that. One other thing that that I wanted to bring up, and maybe I'll do a book review, I'll do a book blog or something. But in the last book, they talk about how the Black woman, must choose. And we've always had to choose. Everybody has to choose, right? But we tend to choose for others over ourselves all the time. And not only do we do it, but it's expected. It's like people expect us to do that. They expect us to always choose ourselves last. And we need to stop doing that. Okay. We need to stop choosing ourselves last. If you have a partner, you're married, you and your man, you guys discuss how you're going to work things out. But in our community, we need to come back home. And when I say come back home, I mean back to ourselves and stop running everywhere for everyone all the time. Okay. Last, before we close out, I just want to remind you about my workbook that's available on Amazon. It's called the Personal Vision and Mission Statement Workbook for Black Women. Okay. And it's a very robust workbook. I gave this workshop for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, where I taught people how to write their personal vision. And each of the pages are color. It's a beautifully designed book. If I have to say so myself, I'm very proud of it. The other thing I always talk about is gratitude, being grateful for, everything that we have going on. I mean, everything's not perfect, but we have a lot to be grateful for. So, I created this gratitude journal called Just Grateful, gratitude journal for Black women. And man, you can buy this for your woman. I'll make one for you too soon. Okay. It's a beautifully designed book. This is color too. This empty pages. Okay. This is also available on Amazon. So these are things that we can concentrate on while we are doing and taking our Black Girl Rest era. I will be doing some videos on Black Girls Rest era, and I'll also be doing some videos on showing you how to write your personal vision and mission statement. I may do them as lives. I haven't really decided at this point. If you're interested in, say yes, do it in the comments. But I'm going to do a few videos helping people to write their personal vision and mission statement. You don't have to buy my book to do this, but it would be helpful for me if you do it. But I want to make sure that we, as a community, that we understand that we have options, we have choices, and we do have an opportunity to help shape our futures the way we want. And we don't have to be recipients. We don't have to be recipients of what other people tell us our narrative is going to be. I don't think so. Write your own narrative. Okay. All right. And Donna says, looking forward to Black Girls Rest video and writing vision and mission statement. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I want to thank, I believe it was Kay who was in here earlier, who told me in comments that she bought the workbook, and she was waiting on it. I want to thank you, Kay, for purchasing that workbook, and thank everyone else who has purchased the workbook. Do you all have any questions before we end? I don't know if my mom's on here or not, but my mother wanted me to do some videos encouraging you guys. So I'll be sending a few of those, completing a few of those in a few days and putting them up. I'll schedule those so that they can come out so that you can get them, and they'll be short. One I did was, I think the first one I did was four or five, it was less than 5 minutes. So I'll start doing those. I'll be making some changes to the channel, and I'll make those announcements a little later. Unless we have any other comments or questions, I'm going to end the live. I want to thank everyone for sharing. I want you to remember that you come from a great people. All right. And your value is not determined by other people. It just isn't, it just isn't. All right. And it's okay to get our rest on for right now. It's okay to mind our own business. It's okay to keep our mouth shut and talk in silence for a little bit. It's okay to mind our own business, like I said earlier, and keep moving forward, because you guys know how we do it. It don't matter who doing what and who running what. We are going to be okay. Oh, the last thing I want to say before I get off this video is check out this movie called if you need some encouragement about who you are, check out the movie the 6888. It's a movie on Netflix. It's about the Postal Directory Battalion, the only African American female battalion to serve overseas during World War II. And this particular group of women were off the chain. It stars, what's the little cute lady name? Kerry Washington. I saw this movie, and this movie was amazing. You have got to watch it, because if you, ever, ever question how great we are, and I'm not trying to be arrogant, sometimes we just need to see we can get over some stuff. Go look at that movie. That movie was great. Excellent. It's on Netflix. It's called The 6888. All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, Rob. Bye, Donna. Bye, Sonia. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia was the first person who worked with me when I first got promoted to manager 20-some years ago. Thank you. I think I said thank you to Donna. Thank you, Kay. And guys, can you like the video before you leave so that people can see it? YouTube will push it out if you like it, and also leave a comment after the video is loaded up. All right. Love you guys. Talk soon. I'll try to do another live before the end of the month. All right. Peace. Now let me figure out how to end this thing. There we go.